and welcome to the DCEU Extra. I'm really sorry, I was supposed to talk about this and some other stuff on today's DCEU Daily, but I got so excited and so angry and so over-focused on the Ray Fisher situation and the Shiraz Faruqi situation, I just pressed stop. This is what happens when you're in it for the passion and not the gravy. Some of you should try that. Anyway, yes, according to John Aaron Garza, and I know he's not everyone's cup of tea or glass of vodka or glass of wine, but he does seem to know things. So it's important to be respectful towards John so you don't get blocked, because he does have sources and he does know things. So this is what John said 16 hours ago. The air cut of Suicide Squad is dropping the 12th of the 25th, 2020 on HBO Max. Well, do you believe him? Yes, I do believe him. If this is true, right, we must say if, we don't know. And even John can be wrong sometimes. But the point being, let's look at the positive. And I know our fandom doesn't like good news. It likes to argue and divide each other and all that. But at the end of the day, this would be freaking massive. And you know what, Grace Randolph? You can sit on it, darling, because you said you thought the air cut shouldn't be on HBO Max until after the Snyder Cut, so we can see how the Snyder Cut does. And having the air cut before the Snyder Cut will ruin Zack's chances of having a success with the Snyder Cut, which is absolute BS. You're talking about the biggest event in Hollywood history. It's going to be the biggest streaming event. I can assure you of that, Miss Randolph, or Mrs. Randolph, or Ms. Randolph, or whatever you call yourself. So let's just say this is a fact, and we don't know, by the way. And Release the Air Cut, we're talking about doing an article or something. The article didn't drop yesterday, so very, very interesting. Apparently, this kind of phantom article is supposed to be dropping today. Anyway, so John Aaron Garza reckons that the Air Cut will release on Christmas Day of this year. And this year has been such a shitfest, apart from the fact that we've had DC fandom, that we finally know that Zack Snyder's Justice League is coming next year in early 2021. And now, if John Aaron Garza is right, and I think he's getting this I don't think he's the source for this. I think Davey Pinar, the film junkie, the film junkie, right? Yes, he fell out with me and blocked me, but I don't hold grudges. Doesn't matter. He was rather unkind towards me in my videos. They're not the best, by the way. But anyway, it doesn't matter. He's the source. John Aaron Garza is saying it as well. Look, I think it's very, very exciting. To be able to see the air cut. And again, as we know, HBO Max is only available stateside right now. So I don't know how we would see it, if they would make sure that maybe Netflix and Prime have got it. It's the same situation as we're going to have with Zack Snyder's Justice League. I think globally we're all going to be able to see it. But, what a great end to 2020, which has been a fucking shitfest of a year. France, Germany and the UK yesterday announcing a national lockdown. It's not a good time to be part of the planet Earth right now. So we've got to take our positives while we can. And this would be absolutely fantastic. Justice. This is what justice looks like. This is what accountability and entertainment instead of accountability over entertainment. And this is what these alt lefts do. You see, they're more interested in their kind of alt left political agenda rather than entertaining people. This is what I'm talking about, but I don't want to keep on talking about that. This is fantastic news. I will be watching it. This is what we wanted. Now, if this is true, we are now it's November the 1st. So you're talking about a month and a half or something until this would happen. So obviously he's not going to go back and shoot anything. Or is it possible that right now he could be, and we don't know, he could actually be with Zack Snyder using his stuff, doing some additional photography as well? We don't know that. I'm just giving you a little theory, because I do think that Zack would like David to put in Steppenwolf in those few scenes he was supposed to be in, David Ayer's Suicide Squad. So we may see that. We may be in for some surprises. Of course, we don't actually. I mean, I think David said he never got to put Steppenwolf in. So look, anything's possible right now. But yes, I do believe this. I do think this is going to happen. And I'm very, very excited for it. You know, this is all I ever wanted. Justice for Zack, justice for David, bringing back the Snyderverse. And this is what we're getting. So at the end of the day, I don't care about all this other stuff. It doesn't matter to me what happens during the Justice League reshoots. It happened. It's done. It wasn't very nice. But now we've got what we wanted. The Snyderverse back. The haircut on Christmas Day. What more could anyone in a fandom actually ask for? Remember, you can tag me over on Twitter at MoviesTVMad. You can suggest articles for me to read. You can suggest subjects for me to do videos on. Anything you want, and I'll respond to it. Now, again, Scott Edwards has asked me something about Supergirl and Arrowverse. No one else is coming in. So, again, his gain, again, is your loss. Come on. I don't buy it. Anyway, right, let's see what Scott has to ask me. I am really curious as to your feelings on Melissa Benoist's Supergirl. Do you like the character? Even though her show isn't the best at times, we can both agree with that. Do you like her in the crossover events and team-ups and as part of the Arrowverse Justice League? I have a lot of time for Melissa Benoist, Mel. I have conversed with her sometimes. I have crossed paths with Melissa. She's a lovely girl. She is an activist. She is a feminist activist. That's something that me and her don't agree with. But I've said it to her as well. I think she's a really talented young actor, and I've got a lot of time for Mel. She is a lovely girl. She's a great performer. She is a great Supergirl, and she's a great Danvers equally. And I'd like to see her in an Arrowverse movie. I don't know about her in terms of the Arrowverse Justice League crossovers. I think she gets left behind a bit, and when they do kind of add her, they do the kind of all girls together thing. One of the things I love about, but when she is in the Arrowverse crossovers, by the way, one of the actors and characters I've always loved her with is Stephen Amell's Oliver Queen. They have a great chemistry, and they've had a great chemistry from day one, because when he was a bit more darker and they were mixing them together in the crossovers, I felt her lightness and his darkness. And at first she didn't trust him, and he didn't trust her, and I like that dynamic. But my favourite dynamic in the crossovers, in terms of Mel's Supergirl and Kara, is of course Grant Gusting's The Flash, aka Barry Allen. You know, that was the first person from Arrowverse she ever met. That was her first connection. And there is this brother and sister vibe, isn't there, between Barry and Kara? And I love that. I think that's really amazing. So I do like her Supergirl. I think her Supergirl on her own, if you take her out the show, as an actor, as a performer, you've got to say, yes, she is brilliant. And I mean, if the DCEU and Walter Hamada decided she should be the movie the movie Supergirl, I'd be really happy with that. There's nothing wrong with her. Unfortunately, I actually thought the first season of the show was okay, and I think it went downhill from season 2. I stopped watching it from season 3 because at the end of the day, as a man, hearing my gender vilified all the time isn't the most comfortable thing. Now, I can understand in the history of humanity, men have treated women really badly. But when I watch my entertainment, I don't want to be constantly having my face rubbed in that, unfortunately. And I say that feminists have got many, many points. But at the end of the day, is entertainment the place to have constantly this argument and this divisive argument? We just want to be happy. We want to be distracted and entertained, not just men, but all genders. So, yes, I think Mel is great. She's a great girl. I'm really happy that she's having a baby as well. And so, yeah, a lot of time for Mel. Brilliant Supergirl. And, yeah, I love her as Supergirl and Kara on her own. Let's not get muddy with the show. But, yeah, she's brilliant. And I'd like to see her do more Arrowverse and maybe her own Supergirl movie on HBO Max as well. Time will only tell. So remember, at Movies TV Mad, over on Twitter, like, share and subscribe. And I'll probably be back tomorrow with more DCEU Daily unless something really, really big drops. See you again soon.